With the Boston Celtics defeating the Heat in 7 games, and Golden State taking out Luka and the Mavs in just 5 games, both teams are set to face off in the NBA Finals. Both teams have taken very different routes to get here. Back in January, the Celtics hit rock bottom, blowing a 25-point lead against my team, the New York Knicks, and they were 12th in the East. There was even talk about splitting up the Jays. If you told someone back in January that the Celtics would make the finals, then they'd probably say,
"Stay off the weed."
Now Boston is back in the finals with a chance to win their 18th championship. Golden State also had to overcome adversity to get here. They were running away with the league's best record back in January, but injuries caused them to slide down the standings, finishing as the number 3 seed. But Golden State managed to get healthy at the perfect time, and they've run through the West with relative ease. NBA fans are going to be in for a treat with this finals, so let's break down the offensive and defensive philosophies of both teams, the keys to success for both teams, and the X factors. The Warriors are arguably the most talented team in the league, but crediting their explosive offense to just their talent doesn't do them justice. Golden State's motion offense features non-stop player and ball movement, which creates advantages and leads to great looks on offense. Opponents are forced to constantly chase around moving players, which tires them out. Unlike other teams, the Warriors' offense isn't centered around one great player, as they have multiple guys who do an awesome job at creating for themselves and their teammates. Steph Curry is averaging 27 points and 6 assists per game in the playoffs, and he can handle the ball, shoot, score, and play make all at an elite level. Jordan Poole has been following right in Steph's footsteps. Despite playing in the first playoffs of his career, he's averaging 19 points and 4 assists per game on a blistering 53% shooting. He can also handle the ball, shoot, and pass at a very high level. And as good as those two are, Klay can easily have the best performance on any given night. In the closeout game against the Mavs, Klay led the Dubs in scoring with 32 points. He was on fire from downtown, hitting 8 of his 13 three-pointers. Having Andrew Wiggins, a first-time All-Star, as a 4th option is a luxury that no other team in the league has. Like Steph, Klay, and Poole, he can also create off the bounce very well and hit from deep. Wiggins is easily capable of averaging over 20 points per game, but his team-first attitude has allowed him to be an amazing fit as a 4th option. Draymond Green is also a huge part of the offense. Although he rarely scores in the double digits, he brings tremendous value with his passing. The Warriors get him in the post a lot, where he's great at finding open shooters and cutters. And Draymond is still a legit scoring threat himself, where he can often finish at the rim and also hit the occasional 3-pointer. The Warriors' superior talent, along with their collective willingness to move the ball, is why they're first in offensive rating in the playoffs. Now let's talk about their defense. The Warriors' defense is absolutely suffocating, and that's largely thanks to 2 things: defensive versatility and great communication. The Warriors play with very switchable defenders, making it difficult for opposing teams to hunt mismatches. In the previous round, the Mavericks were able to hunt DeAndre Ayton by attacking him in ball screens, but Kevon Looney is very quick on his feet, which allowed him to hold his own after he got switched onto Luka. Their communication on defense is also excellent. Should a defender get beat, the Warriors are great at rotating on defense to provide help, and making the second and third rotation to help the helper. Here Luka uses the nice spin move on Wiggins, but there is Draymond Green with a nice block. Speaking of Luka, the Warriors defended him better than any other team in the playoffs. Luka averaged 32 points per game in the 5-game series, but on just 41% shooting from the field and 34% from 3. Thanks to having great defensive talent and great teamwork, the Warriors' defense is absolutely stifling. Now let's talk about Boston. The Celtics' offense is built around their incredible duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. These two are elite scorers, and the Celtics run plenty of pick and rolls for them, which always creates good shots. Both Tatum and Brown are unselfish, so they do a good job of making the right reads and finding the open man. Tatum in particular has really developed as a playmaker. At one point, he was known for forcing too many bad shots, but he's averaging 6 assists per game in the playoffs. The Celtics also space the floor pretty well. Guys like Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, and Al Horford shoot the 3-ball well enough to give Tatum and Brown room to operate. This puts the defense in an impossible position. In Game 6 of the Bucks series, Tatum dropped 46 points. The next game, Milwaukee decided to try to help off of Grant Williams to prevent Tatum from going off. And Williams made in 7 3-pointers and finished with 27 points in Game 7. Having great shot creation along with excellent shooting makes Boston incredibly tough to guard. Now let's talk about their defense. Like the Warriors, the Celtics are incredibly versatile. In their starting lineup, they play with 3 agile defenders that are at least 6'8" between Tatum, Horford, and Robert Williams. And Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart are very switchable defenders as well. This allows Boston to be very versatile in their defensive schemes, where they could switch ball screens or play drop coverage depending on the matchup. In today's league, where small ball has been embraced, most teams are only running lineups with 1 big, but Boston is one of the rare teams that can play with 2 big men while also remaining quick and agile. Having Robert Williams and Al Horford playing together allows Boston to protect the rim and rebound extremely well, and Al Horford's ability to hit threes makes it so the big lineups doesn't compromise Boston's spacing. Their incredible size and athleticism on defense, along with good teamwork, allowed them to shut down Kevin Durant and slow down Giannis, and is why they were number 1 in defensive rating this season. The key for success for the Warriors will be defending Jason Tatum. The Warriors have a great wing defender to put on Tatum and Andrew Wiggins, who at 6'8" and with a 7-foot wingspan has the size and length to match up with him well. Jason Tatum is a threat to go off in any game, but he also tends to have games where he's absolutely ice cold and he'll try to shoot himself out of his slump instead of attacking the basket. If Golden State can keep Tatum in check, that'll really help to stifle Boston's offense. The key for the Celtics will be defending the Warriors' motion offense. All 5 players on the floor for Boston must be active and engaged. Nobody can relax or take a break on defense, otherwise the ball movement, shooting, and star power of the Warriors will destroy them. It's important that the Boston defenders don't fall asleep and stay attached to their man. Boston has a lot of long, lanky defenders, and by keeping their arms up, they can force deflections and turnovers and turn those into fast break chances. Lastly, it's crucial that the Celtics communicate on defense. The constant screening and cutting of the Warriors' offense leads to plenty of great looks. Boston will have to constantly communicate on defense, otherwise 1 player will be guarding 2, which will allow guys like Steph and Klay to get wide open threes, and that's the last thing Boston wants. Now let's talk about X factors. The biggest X factor for the Warriors will be Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins was amazing in the conference finals. He averaged 18 points per game in the series, doing a great job guarding Luka while also making Luka work on defense by attacking the rim. He will be just as crucial in the finals. Tatum will get his, but if Wiggins can slow down Tatum while also attacking him on defense and making him work, then that'll be huge for Golden State in this series. The biggest X factor for Boston is Jaylen Brown. Assuming the Warriors' main defensive game plan is to slow down Tatum, Brown's offense will be huge. Jaylen Brown averaged 25 points per game last series, but he also turned the ball over a ton. The Warriors are one of the best teams at forcing turnovers, which could present a huge problem. Boston is going to need Brown to score and play make at a high level, while also taking much better care of the basketball. Another X factor for Boston is Al Horford. What Horford is doing at 35 years old is absurd. His defense and rebounding has been excellent, and he's done a great job of guarding the opposing team's all-star big, whether it's Giannis or Bam Adebayo. He's also had some big scoring games, and he's been lights out from downtown in the playoffs, hitting 48% from 3. That's up from 33% in the regular season. Horford's hot 3-point shooting is really key for Boston because his shooting allows Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to drive to the basket while also allowing Boston to keep a big lineup on the floor. If Al Horford can sustain his hot shooting, that's going to be huge for Boston in the finals. Ultimately, I believe this will be an amazing finals. Both teams match up pretty well, but Golden State has more talent and they have the best player in the series in Steph Curry. I predict the Golden State Warriors will win this series in a tough 7 games. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Who do you think is going to win this series and in how many games? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this analysis and want me to continue covering the NBA Finals, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.